This one change just about 2x'd my output. Definitely the greatest thing I did for my productivity. And so I always wanted to do something similar for my brother, but school came in the way, man. Fuck those people telling you that everyone has 24 hours in the day, you have to decide how to spend them. You have 6 hours in the day, my man. But I promise you, as long as you are in school, as long as you are committing almost 50% of your day to this one place, you're not going to find a more optimal or more efficient way to utilize your very limited, very scarce time. Is there anything that you want to achieve that to the average man would sound blasphemous, that would sound completely absurd, would sound insane? Or do you have big hopes, big dreams for yourself? If yes, give this routine a shot. Hi boys, I just wanted to make a quick video to share with you this hack that my brother and I have been experimenting with. So over the past few months, along with working on my own self-improvement, along with trying to optimize my days to the fullest, trying to work as efficiently as I possibly can, trying to make the most of every waking hour, I've been trying to do the same for my brother, which is significantly, substantially more difficult, by the way, because he goes to school. I'll be honest with you, I've wanted to make this video addressing those of you who go to school on how to be more productive. I wanted to make this video for so long. I wanted to make it since I started this channel. But I'll be honest, I myself was stumped, dude. Those of you who've seen my previous videos, you know that I myself became productive for the first time like a year ago. This was after I graduated from college. What do I know about being productive in school? So my brother has helped me gain that perspective. Over the past few months, we've tried multiple different things. We've tried every permutation and combination, and recently I think we've finally done it. We've finally found the one change that you can make that will give you the greatest bang for your buck, that will I'll speak for my brother. This one hack, this one change has taken his productivity to another level. It has made more of an impact. It has made a greater difference than anything and everything else combined. And I want to share that hack with you. Oh, and before I forget, let's get the mandatory sleeveless flex out of the way, right? Let me just pull my sleeves back a little, get ready, and fuck yeah. I hope all of you are on top of your gym grinds, guys, so that you can just whip out your arms any chance you get, man. There you go, dude. Okay, coming back to this. Before I share with you the hack, there's one concept I need you to understand. For that, let me share with you a quote from the book Deep Work by Cal Newport, which, by the way, brilliant book. 100% would recommend for anyone trying to improve their focus, their output, their productivity. Just read the book, man. Okay, here goes. One of the chief things which my typical man has to learn is that the mental faculties are capable of continuous hard activity. They do not tire like an arm or a leg. All they want is change, not rest. How amazing, how fascinating is that? The first time I heard this, it was groundbreaking for me. Like, it doesn't make sense, it doesn't sound logical, it doesn't sound rational, right? You would assume that of course your brain would tire the way your muscles tire, but it's been studied time and again, it's been proven right time and again. Let me give you an example to understand this better. Let's say you go to the gym first thing in the morning. Let's say you go to the gym at 6 a.m. You get done with your first session, and again in the evening you go to the gym at 8 p.m., which, by the way, I would not at all recommend you do anything like this, but just for the sake of the example, right? Now, your performance during the second session of the day will directly be affected by how intensely you worked out in the morning. It makes sense, right? It sounds obvious that the more intensely you worked out in the morning, the more you tired your muscles out, the more you fatigued them, the more tired they will be even at the end of the day, and the worse your performance will be. So far, so good, right? But now let's say that instead of working out your muscles, you decide to work out your brain. Let's say you decide to do something cognitively demanding early in the morning. Let's say you sit down to either prepare for a test or get done with some difficult homework first thing in the morning. Let's say you do that at 6 a.m. Let's say it takes you 2 hours to do it. You put in 2 hours of proper, intense, deep work. 6 to 8 a.m., you work intensely. Now, you sit down again at 8 p.m. What happens now? Will your performance during the evening session be affected by how intensely, how deeply you worked in the morning? No. it would be irrelevant. How much you drained yourself in the morning would be irrelevant for how much energy you have in the evening. For the evening session, your mental energy will be the exact same, irrelevant of whether you even worked in the morning or not. You will be just as fresh. You'll have just as much mental capacity, just as much mental energy to get work done for the evening session. How brilliant, how amazing, how mind-blowing is that? And my experience with this has been the exact same. I used to go to the gym first thing in the morning and then come back and put in about 4 hours of deep work, of continuous back to back deep work. And it would be clear to me that about halfway through it, I was clearly, obviously not working at my 100%. So what I started to do eventually was that I took half of my deep work time and put it before the gym. So I would wake up, freshen up, get started with my work right away, work deeply for like 2 hours. By the time I was starting to get tired, it would be time for the gym. I would head to the gym completely forgetting about my worries, my work thoughts. I would go to the gym, have an amazing workout, put on some banger songs, vibe the fuck out to them, have an amazing time. I would come back, freshen up, sit down for another deep work session, and I would be just as fresh as I was for my first session of the day. This one change just about 2x'd my output. Definitely the greatest thing I did for my productivity. And so I always wanted to do something similar for my brother, but school came in the way, man. We did this for him on Saturdays and Sundays, and whenever he had a holiday, he would get to work with me at 8 a.m. 8 to 10, he would study. 10, we would go to the gym, come back, maybe, if he's up for it, he would sit down for his second bout right away. If he was feeling a little tired, he would wait until after lunch, and after lunch he would have his second bout, both of which he would be just as effective, just as efficient, just as fresh for, which would lead to an amazingly productive day. Because you can't just say that you're going to be productive on your days off of school, right? That on the days you're going to school, you're not going to be productive, because on most days you are going to school. So we need to find a way for you to be productive while going to school. But you see, the problem is that, and let me give you my brother's example for this. I'm sure school timings are similar everywhere, so you'll relate to this. He gets back from school by about 3:30 p.m. By the time he's done with his lunch and taking a bath and freshening up and all, it's 4:30 p.m. And he needs to wake up latest by 6:30 a.m. to catch his bus on time. Now, if he wants to get his 8 hours of sleep, which I highly, highly recommend you do, because if you're not, that's the first step you need to be taking. That's the first thing that will have a massive impact on your productivity. So 6:30 he has to wake up, 8 hours of sleep, I would recommend. So 10:30 is the latest, 10:30 p.m. is the latest he can go to sleep. 4:30 p.m. is when his day at home actually begins. 10:30 is when it ends. You have 6 hours in the day. Fuck those people telling you that everyone has 24 hours in the day. You have to decide how to spend them. You have 6 hours in the day, my man. How are you going to spend them? How are you going to make the most of those 6 hours? How are you going to spend every hour to the fullest, the best way you possibly can? You have 6 hours in the day. Not 6 hours free in the day, 6 hours in the day in total. Like, everything that you're going to do throughout the day is going to fall within these 6 hours. We've only excluded sleep and school right now. Everything from, let's be honest, you're going to sit on your phone for at least some time every single day. You hopefully go to the gym, or you meet your friends, or you go out to play for a bit. Even dinner, everything is going to be a part of these 6 hours. See, we tried every possible permutation and combination, trying to consistently be able to fit in 2 deep work bouts within this 6-hour period of time, within 4:30 to 10:30 p.m. But we failed every single time. You see, the problem isn't in the fact that there are 6 hours. The problem is in the fact that it is a 1 6-hour stretch. As you'd probably guessed by now, this question should come in your mind, and from the first concept that we talked about, that your mental energy gets renewed. It does not tire out with use like a muscle does. It just needs change. It needs novelty. So what is the one long stretch of time where, if we could fit something into it, we would sort all of our problems out? 10:30 p.m. at night, when you go to sleep, you wake up the next morning, you go to school, you come back. So this is the entire loop, right? So you sleep at 10:30, you go to sleep, you wake up at 6:30. over here, and then you go to school 4:30 p.m. You just have this much of time. This is the 6 hours that you have in your day, and this entire period of time we're just ignoring. There's nothing we can do about it. Of course you of course you got to go to sleep, of course you got to go to school. But what if we are able to put in one bout of deep work within that time? Hear me out. If you could potentially get done with 1.5 hours to 2 hours of deep work before you went to school, by the time you came back, you would be just as fresh as you would be if, irrelevant of whether you put in the work in the morning or not, right? Let's say you leave for school at 7:30. So you put in 2 hours of deep work from 5 to 7. By 7:30 you get ready, 7:30 you leave for school, 3:30 you come back, by 4:30 you have your lunch, you've taken your bath, you're ready. It would make absolutely no difference to your mental state at this point of time. How many hours later? I'm not doing the wait, let's actually do the math. 7 o'clock you stop. So that is 7 to 12, 5 hours over there, up to 4:30, 9.5 hours later. It will make absolutely no difference what you had done 9.5 hours earlier. It would make absolutely no difference to your energy at that point of time, whether you had studied 9.5 hours earlier or not. So you could potentially give it your 100%. You could have an amazing bout of deep work from 5 to 7, and after you come back between 4:30 to, now you'll have to sleep earlier, of course, because you got to wake up early to get done with your bout. So 5 to 7 you put in the work, 7 to 7:30 you take to get ready, 7:30 you leave for school. So if you want to start your deep work at 5, you got to wake up at 4:30 a.m. Now hear me out. I realize how preposterous that might sound to some of you, but is there anything that you want to achieve that to the average man would sound blasphemous, that would sound completely absurd, would sound insane? Or do you have big hopes, big dreams for yourself? If yes, give this routine a shot. It's simple. All you gotta do is shift your sleeping and waking up time earlier by like 2 hours. Yes, it's gonna be socially weird. How are you gonna tell your friends that you go to sleep at 8:30? But I promise you, as long as you are in school, as long as you are committing almost 50% of your day to this one place, you're not going to find a more optimal or more efficient way to utilize your very limited, very scarce time. To lay it all straight out for you, the hack is not to follow this to the T. Of course, it isn't. Your routine is going to vary at least by a little bit. Your school timings will probably vary. Different things will vary. The hack is to find time for one bout of deep work between your sleeping time and your school time, so that by the time you come back from school, it's very easy for you to be able to put one more bout in the next 4 hours or so. That's all I have for you today, guys. I wish you guys all the best with everything. Let me know how this routine works out for you, and I'll see you in the next one.